morning, viewers, or should I call you riffers? Welcome to another episode of Riffing with Rinkoo, a show that reminds you that the only constant is change and tales of resilience are exchanged. Joining me on the studio again is 161 Visuals founder and director, Hafiz. Hi Hafiz, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Rinkoo. It's a rainy morning.
It is indeed a rainy morning.
But again, I'm very excited for today's episode especially. We have another very special guest.
A very special guest indeed, someone I can learn so much from. So joining me on this studio today is Yusoff. Yusoff, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. Very wet day this morning.
It is a very wet day and you're looking all spiffed up for it.
Thank you.
I am in awe of the kind of work that you are doing as a content creator. Can I jump right in to ask you more about that line of work and what motivated you to become a content curator? And for the viewer's sake, let me just say that I just noticed that you have 70,000 subscribers. So share with me about this work that you do.
So I didn't expect to get here, to be honest. I'm relatively new in the business, if you want to call it that.
How new are you into this business?
Only about 3 years. 3 years plus. As a content creator, about 1 year plus, 2 years. So I started, my first proper job was as a police officer. But I've always...
public servant like me.
Public servant, yes. Service to the public, Then I've always felt like, from childhood, I've always felt like I want to do visuals related stuff, like filmmaking. I was interested in that. If you want to call it passion, right? Maybe. Like if adults ask me when I was a child, hey, what do you want to be when I grow up? I always say film director, even though I probably didn't know what that meant. But then, if I can just talk from the start.
Of course.
Then, so throughout school, that's the only thing I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do. But, I didn't do particularly well for O-levels. I think the film course that I was aiming for was very competitive.
Was there a film course?
Film, sound and video.
In O-levels?
No, after O-levels, poly.
After O-levels.
Yeah. Okay. So that course, you need to get 11 points. But I think I missed it by a few points. So I didn't get in. Then, because I didn't research what other courses there are, I ended up in some random JC. And then,
which JC did you go to?
Jurong. Doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't
Defunct.
it? Okay.
Yeah. Spent some time there, just floating around. And then I messed up my A-levels. It's very difficult. I didn't really study that much. And then the NS. After NS, I thought I wanted to continue pursuing this passion. But my dad got sick. So I had to do something practical and stable, right? So I forwent my dreams. Just went to...
you put it aside for a while.
Put it aside for a while, yes.
Put it aside for a while.
And I signed on with the force.
Why did you sign on with the force?
Because I did it for NS. Yeah, I did. I was in SPF for National Service also.
Right.
Yeah, so I thought it's not a bad job, helping people and all that.
A steady income.
Steady income. Got sign-on bonus. Sponsored messaging. And then, so...
So some stability then.
Some stability, yeah. So... Yeah, it helped me and my family go through the rough patches, and then after everything got stable and all that, I decided, okay, if I don't do it now, I will never do it, right? So I left the force without any proper plan in place. So
that takes a lot of courage. How old were you when you left the force?
21.
So
25.
You had so much passion for content creation that you left a job within the first few years of signing on.
Yeah, after the bond finished at job.
After the bond finished at job. And can I ask, you didn't have a job at that point?
No plan in place. So just left, give myself 6 months because I had some savings saved up to take me through. I did some freelance here and there, corporate shoots and all. Then I decided I cannot just keep doing this. There was no structure for me.
What challenges did you face that you made such a leap from a stable job to a passion, but yet you could not land in anything proper? So how did that make you feel, and what challenges were you going through at that time?
Yeah, honestly, it was quite scary, right? Because people do it all the time. You got to take risks to, get gains in life or whatever. But for me, like there were serious consequences, right? Like, because at the time I was sort of the sole breadwinner, because my dad eventually passed on before I signed on. Then, but screw it, I just do it. I just did it. But after 6 months, like because I couldn't get a proper gig or experience, I started looking for a job, and then a content company called SGAG had an opening for like some camera crew position. So I applied for that. And then,
was it a very big company at that point?
Yeah, I think it's quite big.
And how did you land up getting that job? Did you have some connections, or did you do some work before that?
No, not really. Just aptitude, I guess. Yeah, during the interview, I just told them I'm really interested to do this. I got no proper experience, but just give me a shot, and they did, gratefully. Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was 26.
Oh, you got the job right after you left SPF?
After 6 months.
Right. So you stayed on the job because of your father and because of your family circumstances? Can I just take you back a little bit to that?
Yeah.
Ask you, let me hear your journey about how it's been for you with your family. And you said your father eventually passed away. Which year was that?
That was 2017. I was
I asked you
21.
because my father passed away then too.
Right.
So I lost my father and my mother too. So yeah, tell me about that journey about your family. What struggles, was that one of your biggest adversities?
Yeah, for sure, right? Because I'm the eldest of 4. So, and our age gaps are all like very big. The youngest is 19 years younger than me. Yeah, so every time I bring her out, people will assume I'm her dad. Yeah, so
I was just going to say,
I've seen it, yeah.
So that must have been a challenge, young siblings and you having to take on all the responsibility. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And you signed on specifically because your dad got sick,
Yeah.
You just committed fully because you wanted to support your whole family.
Correct.
So that itself, Rinkoo, I think it took a lot of courage and commitment you know, towards his family.
At the time, it was the most practical move for me. I couldn't just, be irresponsible and do whatever. I have to find something stable with a stable income. Yeah.
So young.
Very young, yes, and that takes a great amount of resilience. Were you close to your parents?
I was close to my mom. My mom is an angel. I think I had quite a difficult relationship with my dad. Like growing up, he wasn't very present. Yeah, he wasn't very present in my life. I think it's pretty common, as far as I know, for Asian families, right? The dad is not so present in your life. Mine especially.
I also know that not all sons are able to do much for the dads that are not so present in their life. What made you, be there for your dad? What made you be there for your dad?
I feel like for me it was just a sense of duty. Plus, also I'm really close to my mom. So it's sort of, I have to do whatever I had to do for my mom as well. Yeah.
For love and for empathy.
Yeah.
I definitely resonate with the dad thing. Like you said, I think it's quite typical in being Asian and being in Singapore. And especially being in a Malay family is quite typical for their generation to have this disconnect.
I would say for other families too. At such a young age, if dads are not always present but bringing the money in, or they're too sick and not able to do much, it's not always easy for sons to take on a caregiving job. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always be grateful for my dad, regardless. Still put food on the table.
That's a lesson for others to learn, from. To remember what parents did do for you, to be able to pay it forward sometimes.
Yeah, I would love to hear his background a little bit from your childhood. Maybe you can just share with us.
Yeah, so as the eldest of 4 children, and they're all younger than me, my siblings. I've never really, I don't know, maybe I didn't really experience my childhood in its fullness.
So you missed a bit of childhood.
I had to be the third parent. Yeah, so...
You are a parentified son.
Yes, parentified child. Never heard of that before, parentified. So my parents, I mean, life wasn't very easy because my dad was a sole breadwinner, my mom's a housewife. my mom's from Malaysia, so couldn't really speak English. My dad left school in primary 4, so at a young age also, I had to like step up, like for my siblings, administrative stuff in school, like parent school meetings, I had to be there with my mom.
So you have to be like the parent as well, go for parent meetings.
Parentified child.
Parentified child.
Yeah, I'm always like sometimes I have to sign and I have to circle guardian because there's no brother. Yeah. So that's that.
So you actually practically didn't have a childhood of your own. Right? You were the third parent.
Yeah.
How did that kind of shape you in terms of your outlook in life?
I don't know. I feel like I've had to be. I feel like I'm an old man already. I've had to grow up pretty early on. So my outlook has always been. Practicality first, and then after that, venture to the edges of whatever you're doing. So sort of thing, if that makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
That does.
Almost kind of forced you into a position where you were supposed to be hanging out and doing nothing. You can lepak, play football.
Right. Hey, but I got play football though. Whenever I could find time, I still get in school.
You know how to play hard.
He had to, because he was forced into this position that not
fun.
all of us had to.
Of course.
So people, like new people I meet, they always assume like I'm already in my 30s, but I'm not even 30 yet.
You're not 30 yet?
I'm not 30 yet. So, yeah.
Very mature. Sounding mature.
So I think in primary school, like throughout my childhood also, like there were problems, emergencies in the family. So like my family had to move to JB. So there were moments where I had to, like the whole family was uprooted, right? Then I was staying in JB with them as well, and I had to like travel back and forth. I think the first time was when I was in primary 5, 11 years old. I think in the beginning my mom like did guide me on how to like commute and all that, but for a while I was commuting all by myself to school. And my school was like nearby here.
What happened to your siblings? Were you also?
Oh, they were really small. They were really small back then.
Okay.
When I was 11, my sister was still in kindergarten.
So how did you have to help them, take them to kindergarten, then go to school, commute?
No, I think they didn't finish their kindergarten. Yeah, they had to stay there, get homeschooled for a bit.
Homeschooled?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at 11, you already had to travel from Malaysia to Singapore every morning just to go to primary school.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get kidnapped.
Alone? You traveled alone in Rinkoo?
Yeah, I took bus.
Alone. You must have been waking up early in the morning and then coming back late at home. And travel. Remember, in the earlier days, my parents wouldn't let me travel on a bus till I was 14.
Yeah.
See, he had to do it when he was 11.
And I had a friend who traveled at 12, and she was killed and knocked down by a bus.
Oof.
So thank God, for your tenacity.
Thank you.
That you survived through so many obstacles. Yeah. How long did you have to do that for?
A few months, probably close to a year. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Was it only once during your 11-year-old, or did it happen again?
It was just that once, and then I think eventually it was. My parents realized like it's not very doable. It's not very feasible. The traffic jam is one thing.
Sorry, pardon me asking you.
Yeah.
Why did they send you to JB for schooling?
No, I was studying in Singapore. My family moved to JB.
They moved.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Okay.
They moved to JB, and then I had to travel back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah. What made them do that? It was like some emergency, some family issues. Yeah.
And how was your secondary school days? Because this was primary school.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share a little bit about your personal experiences as a boy growing up in secondary school. Friends,
Secondary school.
family.
I think secondary school wasn't as fun as primary school. I mean, in primary school, I was more carefree, right? Despite whatever that I had to go through, it was very fun. I was just like, okay, whatever. But then in secondary school, you started to develop a stronger sense of identity and all that. And I started to feel like a bit of a, what do you call it? I always felt out of place, in a way. Yeah, because one thing is in every class I went to, I was always the only Malay sort of thing. So I had struggles with who I actually am, my identity basically.
So in your class, you were the only Malay.
Yeah, throughout like
Rest were
secondary school.
Chinese and
Other races. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I mean.
What
yeah.
made you feel like out of place? Who made you feel out of place?
People around me, my peers. Yeah, obviously I'm not Chinese, so I'm not, Chinese enough. Or if I go to a group of maybe Malays, like in other classes, like I'm not Malay enough. So it was quite a struggle, you know what I mean?
We start to form identity, or we don't. There's a lack of it.
Yeah.
And schools in Singapore still do that, They either help you shape an identity or they rip it away from you and crush that spirit.
Right.
So then you're left to figure out and struggle through that process yourself.
Yeah.
How did you struggle through? What did you do to keep going?
Yeah, so to link back to content creation, I guess like in a way, it made me fall in love with like films.
Yeah.
I love watching
Away
films.
from human beings, yeah?
I think Hafiz was telling me also, Piramli.
I know, you're all consumers, huh?
Yeah.
Visuals.
Yeah, so I saw, it's like a form of escapism.
Yeah.
So I love watching films, and then like for every school project, even if it's like a simple project, if I could, I would make a video about it. I'll do like, I'll submit my project in video form. I don't know why my group mates also just went along but it's very fun.
Because it gives you a sense of identity, right?
I guess,
Away from being judged. Is that correct for me to say?
I never thought that deep, but probably.
It's what
probably
you do, what you were passionate.
It shapes you,
Yeah.
right? And you're not judged, right? You do it your way.
Correct. And it's fun. It's fun to make people laugh, my classmates laugh when the video is shown in front of the whole class.
Were you always the class clown?
Not exactly. Most of the time also I'm pretty like quiet, chill. But then when there were moments like I'll just say stuff to make people laugh.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself today? In 3 words, 4 words?
4 words. Talking about oneself is pretty weird. It's like a bit.
It's hard to, let's say I think about Asians.
Am I narcissistic or what?
No.
You're not
This is
narcissistic at all.
about you today. We want
Just
to get
about
about
you, yeah.
Correct.
You've been through quite a number of struggles and obstacles and adversities.
I would say stoic, adventurous.
That's right.
Adventurous. I still want to
You
try.
love your adventure. You like to try.
Yeah.
Passion.
Responsible. I know.
Yes,
like
that
people can rely
describes
on
you.
me. I have to do. I see it as a sense of duty, and I think 3 words enough.
The 3 words really describes him well. Yeah.
And you can see it in the content he's producing.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
and the stories that you're telling. Yeah. So tell me more about your content creation then.
Yeah. So we've already gone through O levels, A levels. So in the force, I still did videos for my station. It's like my CCA. Because it's my only outlet to really do what I love.
Yeah.
I learned on YouTube because I didn't have formal training.
Right. Self-taught.
Self-taught. I think most people learn on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they can just learn on YouTube these days.
The young generation all learns on their own. It's informal learning. You don't need books and anything anymore. What happens after secondary school?
So after secondary school, I only had my mind on one course. I didn't do any research on anything else. My parents, they didn't go to that stage of school, so I had to figure it out on my own. And like I said, I didn't get the course that I wanted, which is a very popular film course. I just went to some random neighborhood JC. Yeah, so my JC experience was pretty similar too, but like I guess because at that time I'm a bit older, so I cared less about what people thought about me. If they want to think I'm a mud, I'm a mud. But like even though I know deep down I'm not a mud, because I'm again in JC, like there's very few Malays. Then I like they would shoebox you in like a category. You're a Malay, you're a mud. Yeah. So I had to sort of play into that character also. And I think in JC, like I had more fun also in school, even though things were still also quite tough. In JC, my family had another emergency, so for the second time they moved again to JB.
Again?
So yeah.
And you had to move too?
I had to move too. For a while I was commuting back and forth, but then the curriculum in school, in JC is like super packed. So I didn't have enough sleep, plus I was in a very the CCA that took a lot of my time. I was in rugby, so like, I had to.
CCAs are very important in JCs.
Right. Yeah. So like, I had to figure out what to do. So I stayed in like my like a family friend's place for a while, and some relatives' place, and then my granddad's place. For a while, I was staying alone as well because my granddad moved out of his house, and I had to stay alone. I mean, that was quite an experience that shaped me as well. I had to learn how to be even more independent.
Yeah, because you were alone, just staying with a friend or so on and so forth, managing it on your own.
Yeah.
And this was in JC, yeah?
JC.
Yeah, JC.
You shared with us your primary, secondary and JC experiences. How were they different and how did each education level impacted you think?
Right. I think in primary school, I mean, everyone there, all the kids are just trying to have fun, right? Like, you don't really think about what you want to be at and all that. So it's more carefree. But then like in especially in late primary school, that's when I realized like, okay, I had to be sort of like the third parent. That's when I got parentified.
Very young age.
Yeah.
You were almost adult already.
Yeah,
Upper primary, like 11, 12.
Already felt the I
Yeah.
have to do something.
He's not even
Correct.
a teen yet.
Yeah.
Proper.
And I mean, because it was sort of forced to me as well. My parents, like, they needed my help.
Yes.
And then secondary school was when like we go through puberty, everything is so like
Finding
weird
identity.
and with all the experiences that I was having with my environment, that sort of made me feel a bit out of place. That kind of feeling, I don't know how to describe it. And then JC, I felt more connected with who I am. I know I'm a Malay person. I'm Malay. I know that I want to do something creative.
What's your proudest proud right now? I mean, you've been through quite a number of a young parentified son. Before you even hit teens, to secondary school life where you were trying to shape your own identity. Then you lost your father along the process before that. Then you move into a JC because you couldn't get the course that you wanted. But yet you struggled through and you went from JB back here and there, commuted, very risky. You went through a number of challenges. What's your proudest proud about?
When I come home, I see my mom, and she's happy. My siblings are still in school, doing quite okay. My sister, who's like next after me, 5 years younger than me, married out of the house. I mean, we have food on the table. Yeah, I think that's my biggest achievement, I would say.
It is.
I mean, my family.
Huge contribution.
Because like after my dad passed away after NS. So as I was like getting into SPF as a regular, earning an income and all that, I started to like bring my family back after my dad passed. And got them back enrolled in Singaporean schools.
So they were still in JB when your dad passed.
Correct.
And not all of them were here.
Not all of them
so
were
you
here.
were here alone during your NS days.
Yeah.
Oh man, tough. That's really tough. He's been really independent since young.
So I brought them back, and things are a lot more stable. I'm just thankful. I mean, I didn't do it all alone. I had support and all that. I had to do it independently, but if I needed help, there were people around me, like my relatives in Singapore.
Yusoff, you were talking about your grief, that it was a difficult journey for you. Can you share a little bit more about that with me?
After my dad passed, it was very complicated sort of grief, because like growing up, he was very distant, wasn't very present in my life. So like even when he did nice things for me, I didn't learn how to say thank you to him, because like if I say thank you to him also, he'll just like brush it off. It was very it's that kind of relationship that I had with him.
Was it superficial?
I wouldn't say it's superficial. It's just
just a little typical father.
There was a lot of disconnect, and I couldn't understand him. He couldn't understand me. But he still did his duty as a father. So I've always felt, love for my father. Like who doesn't love their own father, right? So when he fell sick, he had cancer. Like he found out he had cancer. I had to really, I had to really understand like my relationship with him, and I had to really. I feel like I know he's gonna go, so I have to do something about our relationship. But at the same time, he was going through. He didn't opt for treatment, so he was just going through palliative care. Yeah, so he was going through all that pain. So I didn't. It was very, very difficult for me to navigate through.
Yes.
So I slowly saw him grow smaller in size and all that, and it was very difficult. And then eventually, he passed, and I think that the feeling I had at first was very. I didn't really cry when he the moment he passed away. Like it was very. I don't know what was going on, sort of feeling. And then, but interestingly, like I would say, like a year later, it all hit me like a truck, like super. Like the grief hit me super suddenly, like a long time after he passed away. About 1 year.
So this grief has affected your mental resilience?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
What are you feeling? What are you feeling and thinking right now?
I mean, of course, first of all, the missed opportunity to have something with my dad. He's no longer around, so.
So, if you had a chance to go back and have a conversation with him, what would you say to him?
I would still thank him for bringing me to the world, for ensuring there's food on the table. But probably tell him I love him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We never get a chance as Asians to say that.
Yeah.
If I took you back to the stage of the palliative, you could see him growing
weaker, smaller. Yeah.
What were you doing during that stage? Were you sitting by him, being with him?
Yeah. So because we weren't close and our relationship was very difficult, I was in this. I mean, obviously we were in the same house. My mom had to come back to Singapore to take care of him. My mom was always by his side, but I was just observing, sort of, because I just didn't know what to do.
Right.
To be very honest. Yeah. So I just had to let him know that I'm there, that I'm present for him. But I didn't really get to talk to him much also in that stage.
But he felt and knew that you were there. I think you've done a marvelous job in that, if I may say.
I hope, yeah.
Because in today's society, when our parents or loved ones are going through palliative or the end stages of life, we often say the wrong things, or we are just not there.
Yeah.
Not there enough.
Yeah.
But you were there. You were being.
I hope.
Maybe not.
I feel that maybe I wasn't.
We always feel that we've not done enough.
Yeah. I didn't. I don't know. Sometimes I felt I didn't want to be there.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a very natural feeling because you have to see the pain.
Yeah. But I think one of the last things he said to me was he asked me to go get my motorbike license, and I did lah. Very. Like so many things in life you can say, you tell me to get my motorbike license.
So that's what fathers are. They could be so sick, or they could be so angry, or they could not have done something we wanted them to do.
Yeah.
But they always know what you need to do to get on with life. My dad also, when he said, I don't know what's happening to me, but I don't want you to give up on your PhD. I said, I'm so lazy, I can't do PhD. I hate doing PhDs and all that. I'm very lazy, I don't like to do all that. He goes, no, please, just don't. It'll take you through in life in some way or the other. Please. And for fathers, that's what they are. They feel that as long as they're giving a good advice, they've done their part.
Yeah.
Are you carrying that with you now? Are you thankful?
I am, always.
Yeah. How do you get through grief every day? What do you do? What are some strategies that you take?
Just surrounding myself with people, who care about me, who I care about, people, loved ones, basically. People you can have a laugh with.
Yeah.
And just, distracting myself, I guess, with work.
Yeah.
With currently my content creation. But yeah, primarily just spending time with loved ones, family and friends. Close family and friends, yeah.
Bringing back to an interesting point, he said the difficulty about saying thank you to your dad.
Yeah.
I experienced that. I can remember this on my 10th birthday. He bought me a bicycle. I always wanted since like 6-7 years old. He finally got it for me. But it was, I felt that it was so hard for me to say thank you because I didn't see that from him.
It was not consistent.
He doesn't say that to my mom or my brothers, and so I felt like, hey, it's okay lah, no need. There's this certain paiseness.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah. But I mean, sometimes the feeling is so strong to say thank you. Then you say it, but it's so awkward.
Right. I don't understand. So that brings me to this following point. I relate to Yusoff in a lot of ways from his stories. He turned out also was a West Coast kid. He grew up here, so I was really happy when I found out. Yeah. I still have my dad around. So similar to you, growing up was like that. Disconnect. I don't feel like he was fully into his role and stuff. I'm still trying to see if there's ways I can fix this because I still have time. Learning from everyone so far, that's what they wanted, right? They wish they had more time. Now I'm still in that position. But honestly, I've been trying so hard. So what other advice can I get from both of you? For not just me, I'm sure a lot of our rippers out there, they might be in the same position as me. I don't want to, go on not hating him lah, but just disliking him, and he's getting older. He's sick as well. And I know they will go at some point. So what can you guys share with me? Both of you, Yusoff and Rinkoo.
When my parents, thank you for asking that question. When my parents were there, they were just a very high standard, pressurizing couple. It put a lot of pressure on my brother, put a lot of pressure on me. Either they named me as more average than my brother, but whatever it is, they gave me a lot of tension, stress. My mom was always very temperamental and angry. My father was always, just do.
But diamonds. Diamonds are made under pressure.
That's right, diamonds are made under pressure. But you see, no matter how much of that anger I used to hold of my parents, the minute they fell sick, much like you, I resonate so much with you, much like Hafiz, I resonate with you, the minute they fell sick, and their entire aura, language, their being changed. Oh my God, if I'm in that situation, who would help me? Right? And I knew my brother was away, and I was the only one there. And they just looked so vulnerable, everything, and said, they need help. They're withering away, they need help. And that's all I remember. Because my brother used to ask me, how do you do it when you know that they didn't always treat you right, they shouted at you a lot? I said, because I see my own parents withering away and saying, help me. I let it go. I let go of that scar and just move.
Was it pity?
It could have been pity, but it was much like duty.
Sure.
A role that I was probably trying to find in my life. Of course, I became the dutiful daughter and actually realized that it's a great role in my life. But I told myself, when your own flesh and blood is sick, you cannot walk away, because they were like, help. And I just said, oh my God, they're sick, they're actually sick, and I gave up my lovely place. I came out of the HDB that I used to live in, gave up my job for the sake of, I don't know whether it was pity or duty, but they were my flesh and blood. And there's only 4 of us, my brother, me, my mother, father. If these 2 leave the center of my life, then it's just my brother and me. And that's the only thing I put in front of me. Okay, that whatever it is, your parents still gave you good advice. Your mother still cooked every day for you, put food on that table, woke you up to dress you up to go to school every day, took you to school, brought you back. In between there were lots of fights. But they did it. They did it as parents. And you are what you are. You have food on the table, you have clothes. You get to go to school, you get to be with your friends. That's all I say to myself. I say, you can ask my brother, I just put it away. Put all angers away. They're sick.
So it's more about boxing up, pigeonholing, and then living it.
I live my life compartmentalizing, rationalizing. Right? I get emotional. The day later, I'll try to rationalize that.
Correct.
That's how I live through my resilience. I compartmentalize. Okay, this is done now. I got to do that now. Got to open that cupboard and do this. Take out my tools now to do this. Oh, this has happened. Okay, compartmental. Next thing, what do I need to do? I would have a cluttered brain. I was overload, and I had to structure the little pieces of my life slowly. But if I used that, my parents love my brother more, my parents always thought I was the more average, they always scolded me and everything. Why should I help you? You're sick now with 3 heart attacks. I can't be bothered. If I took that stancing, that's it. My father would have been dead within the month. And my grief will never, ever go away. I would die of guilt. So I said to myself, they're sick. My mom became this, someone on TikTok was talking about, my mom was so difficult with me when I was young. But the minute my mom had dementia, she just became a child. And to me, I saw it as, well, I'm not married. I get to look after her like a child. The parent turns to a child. It's your turn. I did put away my anger.
Right. I think it's really important to do that.
I did put it away.
But compartmentalizing is such a skill, though. It's not that easy, right?
And therefore the grief hits you. So when they die, you start to realize that I actually miss them a whole lot because of the way they were the last 7 years. And that's a grief. It's also complementing with, wow, they were so difficult with me. I'm mixed up between my emotional scars on that part, the struggles I faced there, and my love and empathy for them, like you, right? And so that grief goes on. But what advice would you have? What advice would you give? That's what I would say.
I wouldn't say I did compartmentalize my approach, but because however difficult your relationship with your parent is, I wouldn't say they're 100% a bad person or 100% evil or whatever. They might be abusive. Like for me, it wasn't physically abusive. Maybe it felt a bit psychological and emotional.
Right.
But I mean, there were things that he did right. Like he, if you really think about it, there were nice moments. Living with him growing up. Like he would drive us around in his. He worked as a prime mover, so that was our form of like transportation, like the big truck. It was like a tiny house moving around. He would bring us around like during Hari Raya. I mean, still he never talked to me but he would bring us around. It was really, it was fun climbing the truck.
It was not all bad and not all bad.
Exactly.
It was not all bad.
Exactly. Sometimes he will come home with ice kacang. So I use all these things to remind myself that he's not completely bad. Like he's correct. He's still a person, and I'm pretty sure whoever he was also shaped by his own experiences growing up. I'm pretty sure like back in the 50s or 60s, it was even tougher. The tough love they call it, right?
Yes. My father didn't even have love, so all his siblings were horrible to him.
Right.
His mother was just couldn't care less. So it was shaped by that.
I know for a fact my dad's dad, my grandfather, was a military man. He was in the British Army back then. So I'm pretty sure he had a tough upbringing as well. I heard stories, like after he passed away, especially like people telling me, relatives who knew him when he was young, he had a tough childhood as well. Sometimes he was bullied in the kampong, people like bullying him basically. And him crying alone, stories like that, reminded me that he's also human. Absolutely. He had his own struggles.
Absolutely.
So viewing him from that human lens, I feel it's easier to love, to give some love. And if it's hard to give love from a close distance, do it from afar. I would say. Yeah.
So that's your advice for someone like me.
Yeah. If I still had time, if he's still around, I'll just try to show how. I mean, I'll never know how it would turn out, but just show love in whatever ways I can.
I think that's what I've been doing since I've been. The last few years, I've really just been making an effort, but if you cannot engage me, then there's not much I can do. I think it's the keyword of what we've been doing in our podcast so far.
Yes.
Generation
trauma.
Yeah. I hope it ends with us. Yeah.
Yes.
I hope it ends with us. Yeah. I hope it ends with us. But generational trauma can shape us either negatively or positively. So it's something that you have shown us that, that although you've been through all these struggles and you're going through your grief, you wish you had gone back and said some good things to your dad,
Yeah.
So do you feel you're stronger today, or do you still live with emotional scars that hinder you from moving?
I think the emotional scars are not that easy to heal. It will be persistent,
side by side.
But if you keep dwelling on it, it's like a bruise, right? If you keep scratching it, it will never heal.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's there. I know it's there. I know the wounds are there, but I try not to dwell on it. I tell myself I have to take actions to move on, to remind myself of duties I still have, like for my family, or for my future family.
Yes. I like that positive self-talk. If you live with negative self-talk, it's just going to take you down the spiral.
Correct.
So we've heard the buzzword on resilience like a million times out there, right? It's talk to death.
Talk to death.
It's talked and talked to death.
Oh. Like resentment is quite an attractive feeling, to be honest. If I can say in a contradictory way.
It's an easy feeling, isn't it?
It's like it gives you some kind of momentary power, like of the situation, like
almost like drive, is it?
Yeah, it's like, because to be honest, I mean, of course, like I've pieced it up together and I've moved on quite a bit. But when I was going through the grief, like there were moments I felt a bit resentful. Like why you just go like that? Why you just leave me? So it will be, like you said, we are human. We will be there, but just know that it's like, what do you call it? Like in Islam, it's like bisikan. It's like the whispers of the devil. It's gonna be there, but and it's very attractive. It feels good in that moment, but know that in the long run, it's just gonna eat you up, lah. Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's okay to feel like that.
It's okay because it's a feeling.
Okay.
And it comes from deeper needs. You just felt that you were not understood. You felt that you were not appreciated. You felt that they didn't understand your well-being. So feelings are feelings, but needs are needs. And those needs are, you have a right to those needs. You have a right to feel because there are needs that are violated in you and they will stay with you. Just don't let it hinder your life.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah.
There were many things that I felt that, they should have done this for me, done that for me.
Yeah.
I was not resenting, I regretted not being able to do enough, and they passed away.
Yeah.
Again, is it going to help me or hinder me if I continue to harbor negative thoughts all day? If I continue to do that, I move back in life. I just can't move forward, right?
For personal progress.
For personal growth and for my personal peace.
Yeah.
I think what Yusoff asked was legit resent or regret.
Yeah, resent or regret.
I think in my years of grief, I had a bit of both. Regret also quite a bit. Like I feel like maybe I could have done some things for my dad.
Yeah.
But the resentment is easy to work with, to deal with. But the regret
is harder.
Yeah, a lot harder. So because you are still in the capacity to do whatever you can for your dad, I would really think it's the best. So. Yeah.
And grief never goes away, so it just shapes you differently. It's always there. So I'll continue to regret. Yeah. But I have no resentment towards my parents. The reason is because they were my parents. And I put it all away. Because the truth is that, like you, Hafiz, you've done so much, right? I'm just so proud of the things I did for them. I probably couldn't do that much for my own career, but I did for them. And that's enough. You are so enough. you are so enough.
So give my all, not just me, whoever is listening. Let's do our best.
Yeah.
You do your best.
So try to have less regrets. Resentment is normal, part of human being and behavior and feelings. So okay, thank you guys. I'm sure hopefully that will be beneficial for everyone listening. Yeah, thank you.
And so on that note, resentment, regret, struggles, emotional scars, and how much you have come out of all of that and still continue with your life and still have that passion and that dream as a content creator, which we will get into in the last part of this session. How do you define resilience in your own terms?
The Brits call it what? Keeping a stiff upper lip, right? Just the ability to, when difficulties come or calamities come, like for me, family emergencies or whatever, to just keep going, just keep, even if you fail in small ways or big ways, just keep coming back onto the path.
Yeah. And I think that's the story that you have shared with us, that you press on.
Yeah.
Right? You press on. Right?
You have to do it.
You have to do it. You have to do it. I love the stories all of you on the studio share about resilience, because it's coming from ground experience, and it's not what the books tell us.
Yeah.
So for you, it's just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. But be prepared to say all these negative feelings will come in your way. And as they say, let it come and then just let it go. Let it come again and let it go.
Yeah.
And move on.
Life will figure its way.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I love those resilience tales that you have shared, and your rich experiences as a I'm really, really, enlightened. Tell me more about the content creator role that you've played and you are doing now. For who, what's happening there, your passion, how you came to 70,000 subscribers in 2-3 years. Share with the viewers your success story.
I mean, I'm still in the midst of figuring out how I got there. Also, it's honestly, if you are driven by something you love, it's not.
That is true.
I would say
it's second nature, right? It's like effortless.
I wouldn't say effortless lah. That was like bragging, but no, I got into my role sort of accidentally, because I joined the content company. It's called SGAG, right? I joined as a camera crew, and a few months in, there was a shoot that I was on. I was a camera assistant. Then there was a cast member that overslept. Then the director was like, hey, you want to try the role? And I'm like, sure.
That sounds like a Bollywood drama. He didn't show up, so I'm going to get you.
But for me, like I said, I'm adventurous. So when opportunities come up, just say yes until you cannot say no. Say yes until you cannot lah.
Yeah.
So I said yes. I appeared on screen. Then, as it turned out, I had a bit of talent for that. And then eventually, I got more opportunities to appear on screen. And then I realized also I can also write scripts. So I was attached to the creative team for a bit, writing scripts, and then eventually made the full transition. So in all that journey, throughout that journey, I'm surrounding myself with other content creators and all that, right? People who are already making it in social media. Yeah, naturally, osmosis, they call it. Yeah, you learn from the people around you. Just so naturally, I thought, okay, why not do my own thing, create my own content that is in my own style, that I can have ownership over. Because to be honest, before SGAG, my social media I didn't have TikTok. Joining SGAG, I didn't have TikTok for a year into SGAG. I thought TikTok is a bit macam budak-budak, dancing and all that. But IG also, I was mostly deactivated the account. I didn't really want to use social media that much. I feel it was very distracting. So ironic now I create content.
And now you're on the socials.
Yeah, so I started creating my own content. I wrote my own stuff, and then I think, I did videos on satirical pieces on whatever's going on. There was one about like one of the presidential candidates that sort of blew up. So videos blew up. I did Malay content, which is like basically it's just P. Ramlee lyrics, right? Which I resonated with because I love P. Ramlee. I think he's a legend.
Right. Yes.
In our lifetime, very hard to find someone to replace him.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, like as I was saying earlier in my life, I struggled with my Malayness, like my identity. So,
you're bringing it all
this
back.
This is.
Identifying with it now.
His stuff was, really resonated with me, and I used that as a way to reconnect with my identity, to express my Malayness, because I feel like it's beautiful, right? Also, in a way to showcase that being Malay is not just about like the stereotypes, whatever stereotype you want to talk about lah. From there, I grew an audience and all that, and it's been I'm still learning as well.
Amazing.
Like, yeah.
So, who has been like a mentor or a guru or someone that has inspired or influenced you in all this?
I mean, besides P. Ramlee, there's my interest in film in my earlier years was always like around. I mean, besides the usual film school, directors like Quentin Tarantino and all that.
Oh, wow.
Like I felt very compelled by David Lynch's work. Yeah, David Lynch is like, he just passed away recently. Like his work was very surreal, and it's like it really expresses like the feelings that I was feeling growing up, like the feeling of like disconnection from people around me, sort of feeling. Yeah, because he himself grew up in a difficult neighborhood in I think Philadelphia or something, and then he showcases that through his films. The feeling of weirdness and absurdity. I guess that's an inspiration for me. Not in everything I do lah, but some of it, like maybe underlying sort of inspo. But I mean, within my environment, in my company also, I mean, the creators around me, they were so nice. They were telling me like, hey, you do your own content now, why not? Like people like Zaki, Shafika. Yeah, they were all really supportive, and I learned a lot from them. So,
what gave you the strength to take a leap from stability to passion? Of course, you've done very well.
I'm not sure if it's strength or foolhardiness. Just,
Either way.
I feel like I just went for it, took the risk, but. I mean, thankfully, I still have like people supporting me. My mom was very supportive of me taking that step. I mean, she knows that there would be consequences if things don't go well, because I'm supporting them, I'm supporting my family. But she never made me think twice. She was very supportive. She's like my number one cheerleader.
You need that. You need a cheerleader, right, to drive into that passion.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Next question. How do all these challenges, overcoming these challenges, shape your own personal values?
Going through all these challenges, I know that like in my adulthood, I don't want to go through life like that. I don't want to go through a difficult life. I mean, life will always be difficult, but if I can, I know that it's given me the understanding that the power is with me. Like I have what they call it, locus of control. We have control
the circle of
over.
Control is with
I mean,
you.
of course. My own personal belief is that like God has written whatever for you, right? But still, whatever you can do, whatever is in your hands, just take control, take charge.
Powerful. That's wonderful. Next question. Have you had a moment where you realized you were unconsciously replicating something from your parents?
My mom is a lovely lady, so I mean I can only say nice things about her. She's never. I think she's the nicest person I've ever met. But of course, like there were some traits that you cannot avoid, replicating in some ways. Like I think my dad also had some issues with, anger control or whatever. So
Transference.
Yeah, you can't avoid. I think there's a saying in Malay. The kuih, you use the the mold, right? That's the kuih. The kuih will come out that shape, lah. Yeah. So there were moments where I had outbursts and all that, especially in my early years. But I've since resolved it, lah.
So there's the good and the bad and the ugly. But what key values would you then, given all your experiences, pass down to the youth, the generation ahead of you?
I think the biggest thing is that you need to, the most important value I would say is responsibility. Knowing that you are, you are responsible for your own life. You are responsible for your community, your tribe, people who rely on you. So if you don't have a sense of responsibility, then like if on the individual level people don't do that, then on a bigger level, society won't function.
Exactly, and neither will they respect you.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So
would you say that responsibility has been a key value and thread throughout your entire life?
It's something I try to remind myself.
That is true. That is true. Thank you. Last question. What's one lesson your parents indirectly taught you and that you still want to carry today?
I think it's the unconditional love from my mom. Yeah, regardless of, I wouldn't say I was completely perfect in everything that I did. There were moments also like I said, like the outbursts or like feelings of resentment. There were moments I felt I had to take away myself from like my family. Or like I didn't run away or whatever, but I was quite distant from my family for a bit also. There were moments. So. But then, like the love from my mom was unending. Like she never stopped, stretching out to me.
Overpowering. Over anything else that you went through.
Correct.
That was negative, right, in your life.
Correct. In person, lah. Her texting very dry.
They all are. They don't know what the acronyms still mean.
Correct.
I'd love to meet this amazing lady, your mom. Yeah. So I don't know. Hafiz, got anything else to ask?
Probably, what's one thing you would like to say or share with whatever you feel about present day society? I think especially in Singapore, is there anything you would like to share and hopefully not advice, just share?
Yeah, I think people. I don't want to be prescriptive, right? But then people in general, I think it'd be greater for society if they are more compassionate. I think compassion is really important, right? Like if everyone is too focused on material success, on material things, then we will forget that. I mean, we all have souls, like I would believe. Like we would sort of, abandon our spiritedness as a people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that powerful advice. I also want to say that a lot of people feel, if my parents give me a lot of things, then only I will give them some love.
Yeah.
Right? But you still have to have compassion. You still have to have compassion.
You cannot put things on a weighing scale.
No, you
have to do it. It has to come from the heart also, yeah.
What do you think society needs to shift away from that mindset a little bit?
What, how?
What and how?
Singapore society.
Yeah, like I said, the extreme materialism. Because, I mean, it's pretty obvious that our society is heading towards like extreme materialism. We are trying to grow economically at a rapid pace at the expense of, compassion. Let me just to go back to that.
We call ourselves a very gracious society. What do you think? Have we evolved? Where are we on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think my personal experience says that there are people who are gracious and kind and compassionate. There were like support structures throughout my difficult years that helped me. But what's the question again? Sorry.
I mean, gracious society scale of 1 to 10, how do you think we've evolved?
I think we're about 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. The people I encounter these days are gracious to me.
Yeah.
When my parents fell very sick, I realized how nice Singaporeans were actually.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that before.
Yeah.
And then there is an element of graciousness.
Yeah.
I didn't experience that when my parents were not, and when you and I became accidental caregivers, right? I didn't realize any of that. I just thought everyone was very cold still. Singaporeans are so Singaporean, so kiasu about everything, right? But then there was an element of graciousness. And then I test the public service a lot by calling them and asking them for things, Before they were cold, now they try to attempt to answer, So I would say I'd give it about 7.5, but definitely there's room for improvement.
Correct. I mean, from my experience in the public service also, the way things are carried out feels very cool also, very rigid, very listen to me.
Yes.
You cannot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's always this agenda. I will help you if there's an agenda.
Yeah, correct.
So I wish that part was more compassionate. I help you because I'm human, you're human.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Why does it have to happen only in a super aged society when someone needs that help for the elderly? Why can't it happen to each of us? We're all humans.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't just help me for that A personal grading.
Right, exactly. Or I'm going to be ranking you and I'll pull you down if you don't say it the way I want you to say it. That's the part I feel the compassion really needs to play it right. Yusoff, thank you so much for coming to the studio and having this wonderful session. I've learned so much from you.
Likewise.
Thank you. Powerful lessons on the tales of resilience through your journey, which I am amazed. And we're also proud of you from where you were to where you've come today. And there's so much to learn. Would you like to tell the viewers anything about your projects?
You can follow me on socials at Yusoff, MUYU, sorry, MUYUSOFF. Just give me a follow. So it'll be great if you like my stuff. If not, it's okay.
Excellent. Well, viewers, riffers, we've come to the end of another episode on Riffing with Rinkoo. I'd like to thank Hafiz again for being with me on the studio.
Thank you, Rinkoo. Thank you, Yusoff. Very, very insightful today.
And very insightful session.
Thank you, Hafiz.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to add us onto your socials and like, share and subscribe to our channel.
And please press the ring the notification bell button.
Button on top or below.
Yeah.
Right? Tune in for another episode of Riffing with Rinkoo. I'm Rinkoo Ghosh, signing out. See you next time.
All right, see you, riffers.